In this short video, we're going to take a quick overview look at BizTools Analytics for QuickBooks, and we'll also include a live demo. Before we begin, let's have a quick look at what analytics is all about. So, analytics is a core component of any effective business intelligence solution. A business intelligence solution usually comprises dashboards, analytics, and custom reporting. Analytical solutions are all model-based, meaning that your data is extracted from your core systems and transformed and modeled in a way that makes it easier to convert that raw data into useful information. So why analytics? Why should you bother? Well, managers and owners of businesses need fast, easy access to more useful information, typically about their financial and sales results and their key trends, because that leads to deeper insights. And from that point, you can make more informed decisions, take smarter actions to achieve better results. Realistically, getting timely, accurate, and actionable insights from your QuickBooks data can be difficult. QuickBooks, like most small business accounting solutions, is very good at recording your financial transactions, but not necessarily very strong at helping you understand the meaning behind that data and identifying key trends in the business. That's the solution that BizTools aims to solve. BizTools works with your QuickBooks data, and it lets you quickly and easily connect to your data files to build dashboards, conduct ad hoc analytics virtually at the speed of thought, and report on your financial and sales data to get those deeper insights to improve your bottom line. We'll take a quick look at some of the out-of-the-box content, and then in the demo, we'll give you some examples of how you might create custom content for your own business as well. So BizTools seamlessly integrates with QuickBooks Desktop. So we're talking QuickBooks Pro, Premier, and Enterprise. What we see on the screen at the moment is a couple of the standard out-of-the-box reports. On the left-hand side, we can see an example of one of the over 25 key financial ratios that the solution evaluates automatically for you. We're seeing here a rolling 12-month trend, in this case for inventory turnover, along with the values for current year-to-date and last year-to-date and the relative status of those. On the right-hand side, we're looking at a sample report, which is a company status report for a company called Harry's Landscaping. And this is a multi-page report that looks at the business from a financial health perspective. So we look at profitability, liquidity, turnover, and leverage. And that report can be easily customized by adjusting the parameters to only include the content that's relevant to your business. These reports are created automatically out of the box for any QuickBooks company data file that you process through BizTools. A key strength within our solution is it enables you to create interactive financial dashboards literally in minutes. And you can see here an example on the screen. This is a custom report built in Excel showing elements from the balance sheet, the income statement, filtering by class, multi-quarter trend analysis for some key metrics, in this case revenue and gross margin percent, AP days, etc. You can also pick out various key financial ratios or metrics as well to include on your custom report. As you can see, this is built in Excel, but the key point to note is that BizTools is a data model-driven solution, so you don't need to export multiple QuickBooks reports to get that data into Excel. We'll see here a couple of examples in a second that'll illustrate that in a bit more detail. So another key facet of our solution is to enable you to conduct multi-dimensional sales analysis for all of your QuickBooks data. So again, this is an Excel custom report. The key thing here is that QuickBooks Excel is directly connected to the BizTools Analytics database where your QuickBooks data has been copied into. So we have an extract process that takes the data from your QuickBooks company data files, transforms it, and loads it into an analytical database. So we see here in this example For Harry's Landscaping, we're looking at various sales measures, revenue, cost of sales, margin, how many customers ordered in different time periods, and we can break that down by several dimensions, including sales reps, customer types, classes, sales items, and individual customers if necessary. A report like that would typically take someone with just moderate Excel skills, something like 20 minutes to create. And of course, that report can be saved up into the BizTools Report Manager intranet portal. We see here another example, again, sales analytics, looking at revenue and gross margin percent over a rolling 12-month period. In this particular case, we're looking at 4 quarters, and we can filter that report by classes or customer types and reps, customer location, and show various aspects or dimensions of our sales to gain deeper insights into the trends and what's driving the results of the business. Okay, so let's take a quick look at first what we'll do is we'll look at some of the out-of-the-box content, and then we'll look at some examples of custom analytical reports that have been created in Excel. So we'll just open up the BizTools Windows application, and we'll drag that into view from the other screen. So this is where you connect BizTools to a QuickBooks company data file and apply various configuration settings where you map accounts and then ultimately refresh the data, so extracting the data from QuickBooks and loading it into BizTools. In subsequent demos, we'll cover this in a lot more detail, in particular how to connect to QuickBooks and how to map the accounts, and we'll talk about processing options. So for the moment, we'll look at the other main component of the solution, which is the BizTools Report Manager intranet site. So just to explain that, BizTools is a on-premise application, so it's typically installed on your computer, so your server or your PC or your laptop, where you have QuickBooks running. The output of the solution, the content, can be accessed either through this intranet web page or directly through Excel, depending on your preferences. We'll briefly look at one of the capabilities of the solution, consolidation. So BizTools Analytics lets you do consolidation across the balance sheet, income statement, and financial ratios for multiple companies. And we've created one here called the Acme Group. And we'll just give you a really quick example of a consolidated view on the balance sheet for these companies. And we're only showing 2 companies here, some Intuit sample data files, Larry's Landscaping and Rockcastle Construction, that all belong in this case to the Acme Group. And we can see on the left-hand side on the rows, the BizTools standard taxonomy for a balance sheet. And we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail later on. We also do consolidated views of the income statement and financial ratios for multiple companies as well. You can also, if you've got perhaps 5 or more companies, you've got the option to deselect some so that you can get an aggregation for just some of the companies in your group if you prefer. Navigation's really simple. These on-screen reports can be printed, saved to PDF, or viewed on demand. You can navigate by either using the back button in the browser or using the breadcrumb trail. So up the top here, we'll go back to the home page and we'll have a bit of a look at Harry's Custom Landscaping. Obviously, this has already been processed. And this shows you the out-of-the-box content for any company that you process through BizTools. So we produce some standard reports to cover the balance sheet, the income statement, financial ratios, and sales analytics. They represent the 4 models that are created by BizTools for any of your QuickBooks company data files. Just have a quick look at the balance sheet. The reason why we supply balance sheet and income statement reports is we have a standard high-level taxonomy for the balance sheet and the income statement. And that enables us to work with any chart of accounts, regardless of how you've got it set up in QuickBooks. It also lets us support the calculation of over 25 key financial ratios, and it also enables consolidation across multiple companies as well. So in this report, for example, we're looking at the values for the current year to date, and we can expand that out to drill down into the actual accounts within this QuickBooks company data file. So those are the bank accounts in question there. Additionally, you can click on any of those rows and jump to a rolling 12-month trend analysis. So we might look at, for example, just cash or equivalent. And that report will load in a second or two, and then we can see at a glance what's been happening to our total cash balances over the last 12 months. You can change the metric here by opening up the parameters. You can choose, for example, to say, show me a metric from the income statement, and we might select, as an example, just gross margin and rerun that report. So there, again, there's a rolling 12-month view on gross margin dollars, showing the actual value and also as a percentage of revenue. Okay, so let's go back to Harry's custom landscaping, and we'll change that back to details view, and we'll have a look at some of the financial ratios. So again, by default, we're showing a rolling 12-month view for, in this case, the net income percent, and we can change the ratio that we're looking at very easily through this parameter. So we might have a look at the current ratio, and we'll rerun that report. You'll notice that it's very fast, and that's because the BizTools is talking to its analytics database. So the extract from QuickBooks is done typically after hours. So at this time, we're not actually querying QuickBooks directly, which is a good thing. It enables you to work very quickly with the data, which is great for analytics. It also means that you're not slowing down anybody else that's working with QuickBooks. So this particular sample company data file, the current year to date runs from the 1st of October up until, we've got data up until the 15th of December. So you can see here an example of trend analysis. We can see a significant decline in the current ratio over the last rolling 12 months. Now, this is sample data, and I'm sure the accountants looking at this will say, well, the numbers are still pretty healthy, and that's absolutely correct. But nevertheless, it's a good example of seeing a trend on a key metric or a key KPI at a glance. And that's part of what the solution delivers, a really easy way to get some insights and understanding of your data without having to go through the process of running multiple balance sheets and income statement reports and exporting those out to Excel and then trying to mash it up and do the calculations. So briefly, we're going to look at now some custom reports that have already been done for this company. So we'll dig into these, and you can see there that these are an XLSX file, so an Excel file, and we'll just open that up. We'll have a look at the financial dashboard first. And this browser-based solution also enables collaboration. So if you've got multiple users, everyone can be looking at one version of the truth in BizTools. So I'm just going to drag that up into view from the other screen, and maximize that. And we'll resize a couple of columns just so that you get a better view on the data. And we're seeing here just a sample financial dashboard. Again, we've got details from the balance sheet down to the account level, looking at the current year to date versus last year to date. Various key financial ratios and metrics down the bottom. So current ratio, quick ratio, revenue, gross margin percent over different time periods. So sometimes just the current year to date versus last year to date. And sometimes we're comparing those values to the last 12 months, etc. The middle section, you can see that we're able to, in this case, show the income statement, showing the actual values versus budget. the variance between them, and the relative status of those. You're able to apply filters. So BizTools can work with budget by account in QuickBooks or budget by account and class. So if we were to perhaps select landscaping, we'd see that the numbers change in that table below the filter. And we could also change the time period as well. We could look at last year to date or the last 12 months or whatever period that we want. It's very quick and easy. And that's the advantage of a model-based analytical solution. So these are Excel pivot tables, and I should point out that this is a native Excel integration. So we're using core Excel technology. What makes this work is BizTools is based on SQL Server analysis services technologies, and that's included in the BizTools solution. Additionally, we can apply multiple filters, multiple dimensions across any of the data for any of the 4 models that we produce. For example, on the right-hand side, we're looking at in this case, 5 quarters, a rolling 5-quarter trend of revenue and margin, and also down the bottom, AR days and AP days. So you can select whatever ratios are most appropriate for your business. So that's a really quick look at a financial dashboard. Let's have a look at a sales dashboard. So we'll go back to the My Reports folder, and we'll open up the sales dashboard example. And again, we'll just bring that into view from the other screen. And at the moment, it's refreshing itself. It's updating all the queries. And we can see here a multi-dimensional dashboard view for sales for this company, by time, by class, by customer type, by sales rep, by customer location. So for example, if I were to select California, for that time period, I can see the results just for California. I can perhaps filter by, I might take the location filter off and just see what's happening for a particular sales rep over time. And we can drill into that data. So these filters on the left, or slices as they're known, are applying to both the charts and the tables in that sales dashboard. We can drill down to customer levels and item levels, and we can also interrelate those, and we'll show you examples of that in subsequent demos that you can see on the website. Very easy to use. It's a drag and drop environment. And again, typically, anyone with moderate Excel skills could create a report like this, perhaps in about 20 minutes or so. Okay, so that's a really quick overview of both the out-of-the-box content and some custom content that's been produced, or at least some examples of that. And we'll go back quickly to the slide deck and address some frequently asked questions. Okay, so just to summarize, BizTools works with QuickBooks Desktop. So we're talking Pro, Premier, and Enterprise, going back several years, certainly all the current editions. At this time, we don't have a QuickBooks Online integration, so we're just supplying solutions for QuickBooks Desktop. BizTools is an on-premises application, meaning that it needs to be installed on the same machine where QuickBooks is running. And again, that can be your server, your PC, or your laptop. If you're a consultant or you have multiple clients with multiple data files, we have versions that will let you work with unlimited QuickBooks Company data files, and quite typically you would install that on your laptop where you've got QuickBooks running and copies of client data files. It's also possible if you've got privately hosted solutions for QuickBooks, so long as we can access that, we could install BizTools on the same machine. So it works with a privately hosted scenario as well. So out of the box, we produce multi-dimensional data models and key reports covering these 4 major subject areas: income statement, balance sheet, financial ratios, and sales. And from the income statement and balance sheet, you can access any account at the daily level and, if necessary, create very complex custom reports. The solution's compatible with Excel, any modern version of Excel, so from 2010 onwards, and it also enables multi-company consolidations. The example we saw was what we would refer to as soft consolidation, so simple addition of multiple companies to a common high-level taxonomy. With a little bit more work in Excel, you can also do what we refer to as hard consolidation, meaning you're able to bring in from those income statements and balance sheets for multiple companies all the data at the account level, and with a little bit of work, you can handle intercompany transactions and eliminations. In terms of the amount of detail that we do, bear in mind that BizTools is an analytics solution, so we don't bring in all the data from QuickBooks. The best practices view is it's important to make analytical solutions very fast and to focus on the analytical side of the relevant data, not necessarily all the transactional detail. And of course, you can always get the transactional detail from your source system like QuickBooks by running one of their standard reports. So in BizTools, both the financials data and the sales data is held at the daily level for the current year to date and the 2 prior years. So that gives you enough scope to do trend analysis very easily. As I mentioned before, it works with budgets if you have them set up in QuickBooks. You certainly don't need to. And it will work with either budget by account or budget by account and class. Importantly, BizTools can be scheduled for automatic processing or refresh, as we call it, after hours. And what this means is that you can come into work in the morning and the data in BizTools can be as up to date as of close of business the previous day. Our pricing that you can see on the website includes installation and setup by remote services. We do that to make sure that you get up and running both quickly and successfully. We referred earlier to SQL Server Analysis Services. That software, embedded licensing, is included in our pricing with all our solutions. And so there's no need to go out and source that separately. For some customers, they would like some additional user training, although it's a very easy solution to use. And that's available. Fees do apply. We can arrange a 1 or 2 hour or more training session on your data if you would like. So in conclusion, thanks for looking at the demo. If you've got any questions or you would like a private demo, by all means get in touch, and we can be contacted at info@BizToolsAnalytics.com. I'd urge you to look through the other demos on the website. We'll be going into the solution, a bit more of a deep dive, a lot more detail, and some live examples of building some of those custom dashboards that you saw in this presentation. We'll be doing those live so that you can see exactly how easy it is to use and how quickly you can get results.